are here today to share the story of my dear friend, the panther that crosses the sky. Heed his word. It will change your life. My friend Tecumseh.
Many cycles ago in the land far to the south of this place in the valley of the Ohio, in a dark and moonless night, suddenly a great meteor streaked from the southern sky, lighting it green and disappearing far into the north. As it crossed over this one place in the valley 2 moments before a child had been born, and his family, the Shawandase, called him Tecumseh, which in their language is a name for such a meteor. The language it translates to the panther crossing over. I who stand before you this day am that Tecumseh. And this day I have come here to speak to you. And you have come to listen. It makes my heart glad to see you here today. This land you sit on 200 years ago today, not just far from here, was soaked with blood. Many good people died here. Many of my people. We died as allies to the king. And wear his medal. Allies, not subjects. You understand the difference? If I don't like the king's general's battle plans, I can walk away. You're a soldier in the king's army, you try that one, they will shoot you. That's the difference between a subject and an ally. You understand? There were warriors of many different nations fighting here 200 years ago. I guess I'm most known for being the one that brought them together. From the Gulf of Mexico to far north of the Great Lakes, from near Portrayal all the way to the Mississippi, our people took the hand of the king and fought as his friend. Why? Do not think we had a great love for your king. Think you ever sang in your time of what you call the Middle East? Suits as well. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's about how warm it gets. Back in those days, the English liked us. We were making them rich. We brought them furs. They wanted to keep us living our old way because it was beneficial to them. You understand? I knew that. The Americans, they don't want the furs. They want the land under our feet. And if we don't gladly move west and give it to them, guess what they do to us?
Get down, get down. Let's go! Hurrah! Hurrah for Kentucky!
Long before I was born, the English first came to this part of Turtle Island. We called it Francais. They don't treat us too bad. They like the furs and they stay on the great river and they don't want too much of our land. And they sure love our women. Mostly they leave theirs behind. So because we are married into many of them, when the Anglais come, they bring their hatred of the Francais and they immediately began to fight here, as they tell me they did across the Great Sea. Many of our nations get involved in the wars that have nothing to do with us, most taking the side of the Francais. After all, we're related to a lot of them by the time the Anglais come. We call them Anglais. We kind of talk to our nose so they hear it as Yankee or Yankee. Don't tell an American, it actually means English and French. So in the wars that come, finally the great French city at Quebec, where the river narrows, that's in our language. Quebec is where the river narrows. It falls to the English king. They come and take all the forts in the west. And their new Governor Amherst hates us. He refuses us to trade us. Does this work without powder and shot, which we cannot make? Many of the foolish men have gone and thrown their bow and arrows away, hunting only with this. I used only this to shoot two-leggeds, not four. If they have it, we better have it too. But I much prefer to hunt deer with bow and arrow than this. This is the Kentucky long rifle. It's very hard for us to get these. It's the most accurate weapon. The man I took it off certainly didn't need it anymore. That's how we got them. So Amherst began a new tact. He had a great conference at Fort Pitt Council with many chiefs of nations. He gave us gifts, thousands of woolen blankets to take home and put on our families. Once we did that, we quickly noticed thousands of us began to die from the disease that makes the face melt. Smallpox, you call it. We're not foolish. We certainly figured out what was on those blankets when they were gifted to us. How many of you thought biological warfare was something new? Who are fathers here? If someone gave you such a gift and you put it on your children and watched them die horrible deaths, what would you like to do to the people who gave you the gift? Any suggestions? You would all be Pontiac's warriors, wouldn't you? He took up the war club against the English because they did such things to us. And every fort west of the Great Falls, except Detroit and Fort Pitt, which were laid siege to for months, fell to Pontiac's warriors. One of them was my father, Pukesinwa, the war chief of my nation, he who strikes hard. But in that war, as they call it, over 2,000 English died and less than 80 of our warriors died. They said it was a victory. Good, a few more victories like that will drive them all out of Turtle Island. But our clan mothers said enough shedding of blood. We can't go to war unless the clan mothers say we can. How many of you knew that? My wigwam is owned by my wife. It's built by her brothers. Only a guest in my wife's wigwam. If I take her off and my basket's on the outside when I come home, our marriage is over. How many of you guys would like that? I have a theory on why the Europeans wanted to quickly eradicate us. They didn't want their women getting any ideas. I see it didn't work. Good. Our women were very powerful in our way, not as we observed the whites that came. We treated their women and they beat them. We never raised our hand in anger. You have to be pretty insane to do it. You want to sleep in the snow. Anyway, I digress on this.